Okay, so I am going to show you a couple of bikini poses, and I do want you to know that you do not need to send these to me expecting me to expect them to be perfect. I'm just trying to get a look at what kind of shape we can create within these bikini poses. So one of the biggest changes that's happened in bikini is the women have a lot more upper body muscle, and they are flaring their lats almost as if they were doing figure. One of the biggest differences is that the figure competitors are obviously flaring their lats, and the bikini competitors are flaring their lats and trying to make it look like they're not. But the end goal is basically just to really create a nice X shape and to make the waist look really small. So one of the easiest poses that I'm gonna have you work on is just the side pose. In this pose, you're gonna have your toe slightly turned to the front, and then this back foot is gonna kind of turn the same direction. I am making it so my body is facing this way, and then my upper body and torso is trying to face this way. So that's why the toe is gonna slightly be faced forward, just to make it a little bit easier to rotate the upper back and the upper body. But I'm kind of keeping this biggest part of my glute to the front and the smallest part of my waist to the front, and then we're gonna bring upper body around, flare the lat, and then bring this hand here. So this hand should stay mostly in line with this knee. So for example, I'm not gonna have it up here because then that's gonna project out too far. So hand to your side, nice flared lat. So instead of it being here, I am flaring my lat, but instead of figure where it's like this, the elbow is gonna be more relaxed and turned in, where I'm trying to make it seem almost as if I'm not trying to flare my lat. So that's pose one, and you can do it on either side. Both will be very similar. I don't flare as well on this side, but biggest part of your hips to the front, widest part of your shoulders to the front, and then smallest part of your waist that way. The second pose, it's really more of a transition pose. It's what we're gonna call the S pose. Very similar to figure posing, I'm gonna kind of create that capital T with my foot. So this foot is back here, weight is on this foot. I'm gonna turn my toe more to the front, and I'm kind of sinking back into that back hip, flaring my lats, really having my shoulders be forward. So I'm not like relaxing here. I'm open, flaring my lat, and then I'm just in kind of a T shape with my feet, like this. For the back pose, very similar to what it was in bikini when you were doing it before, from the hips down. So feet are gonna be underneath your hips like this, but you're gonna be more focused on flaring your lats. So in figure, how you're like, open up like this, we're gonna do that, but we're gonna bring the hands down into the front. So actually, from the side, you'll see that I don't even have my hands on my thighs, but from the back, it looks like they are. That's because if I put my hands like this, I lose a lot of that X shape. So instead of being like this, I am going to have lats open, and I'm just gonna let them, also don't want it up like this because then I have too much projection with my elbows. So lats open and hands more like this. So I'm arching the lower back as much as I can. Another thing is we're not like leaning like this. We are trying to keep my shoulders just above my hips, arching my lower back, and then with my lower back flexed. You'll see if I lean too far, I lose some of that shape. So nice and upright, like this. The third bikini pose, it was the pose still back in the day. It's more of the X pose or the twist pose. We're gonna start with 2 feet together. I'm gonna step forward and out diagonally with the opposite foot. And then I'm gonna really twist into that side, square my shoulders, flare my lats. So flexing this so the glute's showing, dipping back, and I'm not like this. I am opening, flaring, elbow up. So bringing it all together into like a really basic routine, which I don't expect you to do, but I'll kind of show you how it kind of goes. Might be like the side pose, and then the S pose I showed you, it's a really good transition pose where it just goes into this transition, flaring the lats,
this transition again, I'm pushing into my glute. I'm kind of bringing this back shoulder with me so I have more shape versus if I was just like this. And then going into that back pose. From here you can step and then come back into the S pose as a nice base, and then step out into the X pose. Or you can just step right back into this. This is not a set routine, just kind of a way to see how those poses can kind of work together. But yeah, biggest thing, small of my waist showing by turning it this way, kind of pushing into that glute, and then rotating upper back and flaring that lat here. Those are the basic principles. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.